Liam, what does any of this really mean?
Well, many moons ago, Patrick, back in 1986, before you were born, there was something called the Big Bang under Chancellor Nigel Lawson in Margaret Thatcher's cabinet. And what he did is he deregulated the City of London, made it more like Wall Street, more like America, really sparking lots and lots of growth. A lot of people around the country will think the City of London doesn't do anything useful, but it does do some things that are quite useful, and it does generate lots of tax revenue, and it is probably the world's leading financial capital despite Brexit. It still is a massive centre of financial and insurance expertise. And what Jeremy Hunt wants to do is he wants to bolster that position. The city has lost a little bit of ground in recent years. So after the 2008 financial crisis, there were controls and clampdowns put on banks after stocks and shares and bonds collapsed around the world, causing a massive worldwide recession. And lots of donors will like this. Lots of city financiers will like this. You mentioned it yesterday. Labour had their schmooze fest in Canary Wharf, which, of course, is like the East London's part of the City of London. Lots of banks and so on there. And so the Tories are really now saying to the big high rollers, the financiers, actually, we are the party that you want to be back. Give us your campaign donations. And there's a serious point here. Jeremy Hunt genuinely believes that freeing up banks, allowing them to invest with a little bit less regulation will, hopefully, in his view, spark growth, make a bigger economy, more tax, more money for public services.
Yeah, without wanting to sound like a well-known radio presenter who famously said he couldn't grow concrete, is he trying to grow the pie?
He is trying to grow the pie, and there's method in there's method in what he's doing. I would issue a note of caution, though. After the 2008 financial crisis, I thought the regulations that came in weren't nearly strong enough. Patrick, financial crises often happen because you have big investment banks that have control over, your money, companies' monies, regular deposits. Those regular deposits are backed by taxpayers if something goes wrong. But then the other deposits that the big investment banks have, money to invest, capital from highly sophisticated investors, that is not backed by taxpayers. The problems emerge, in my view, when those two pools of capital are mingled and mixed up. That's when banks become too big to fail, because it's ordinary people's bank balances that are in danger when there's a crash. My concern is that these reforms today, ending the cap on bankers' bonuses, allowing some remingling of those ordinary deposits and investment banking deposits could lead to the same dangers that led ultimately to the 2008 financial crisis. Lots of people in politics and in finance will disagree with me, but I just want to put that out there.
No, absolutely. Now, part of me, I latched on to something you said there, which is about having control of people's money. Part of me really wants someone to come and take control of what little money I have, because otherwise I just set fire to it in a metaphorical field. To be
I'm available.
Yeah, all right. That's all right. You'd have to find it first. But just quickly, Liam, who do you think the banks would trust more? Because Rachel Reeves has actually got some clout when it comes to the city, hasn't she? And Jeremy Hunt, with the best will in the world, has not necessarily had a track record with the city in that sector.
But Jeremy Hunt is a very successful businessman in his own right. He is a very sort of financially literate person and known in boardrooms across Britain. Rachel Reeves, too, is no slouch in that regard. She was an economist at the Bank of England. She doesn't have so much hands-on business experience. But just going back to when I was at Canary Wharf yesterday, I did talk to lots of delegates. The main thing about Rachel Reeves is she's not John McDonnell, who was Jeremy Corbyn's sort of modern-day Marxist shadow chancellor. She does, as they say, it's not a nice term, but she does pass the boardroom sniff test. She looks like a chancellor in waiting, and she clearly is financially a sophisticated and literate person. What she has to do now is stay on message and not come up with any unfunded promises in terms of tax or spending. And she can say that's what happened when Liz Truss was in office. And look what happened to the financial markets.
Exactly. Yes, Liam, thank you very much. As ever, Liam Halligan there, our economics and business editor. I'm struggling to get the image of Rachel Reeves being sniffed by a load of people in a boardroom out of my head.